Hello everyone, today we're going to be making this joystick into Godot game engine. I'm using Godot version 3.2 and let's get right into it. So I thought I would start off by explaining the joystick itself, and go to the player and then the game scene. In the joystick, all you want is a Node 2D with a back sprite and a front sprite. And this is the code. I'll show the entire code just once in case if anyone wants to copy. Sorry, let me extend these. If anyone wants to copy and not understand, here you go. If you want to understand, just stick with me. I'll explain everything. So, of course, we're making reference to a couple variables at the top. They should be self-explanatory. If you're not familiar with this type of notation, the semicolon basically explains what type of variable it is, and then after the equal signs, we give it the value. And this works for whenever you're defining a variable, you should do this. It helps reduce bugs. In the ready function, what we're going to do is get the screen size, and we're going to do this by get viewport rect.size. And we're going to quickly call the front extents maker. I know, beautiful name of a function. Essentially what it does is return an array where from 0 to 3, because that's how computers count, 0, 1, 2, 3. But in human speak, would probably call that 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get a left max size, right max size, top max size, bottom max size. And how are we going to do this? We're going to make these variables, and we're going to say that they're floats. And we're going to actually take the back sprite, right, which we made reference to up here. The back sprite, global position, minus the range of the joystick. What's the range of the joystick? Any arbitrary number we came up with. What does that do? If this is my phone, one second. If this is my phone screen, right, and I click right here, this is going to set the back sprite, which we saw was that just this type of gray square. It's going to say get its global position, and we're going to subtract or add that range value, which will essentially give us this sort of an image. It will give us this sort of an image, and using this we can actually clump the front sprite to this box and restrict it from going all across the screen. So essentially, if I'm going to get the leftmost side, so if I'm going to get this one, I want to say that I want to get the back dot global position and subtract the range of it. And of course, the back dot global position has to be on the X component and subtract the range of the joystick, and that follows through each of them. You can work them out through first principles, not a problem. And we're going to return this array. So every time we call this function, it's going to bring with it an array. But we don't want every single one of these variables being variables being assigned when we're calling this function. We want a specific one, and this is exactly why the array returns it in this order. So left max size is not number 1, number 0, because computers count from 0, and that's exactly what we're doing in the clamp function, which I will start explaining right now. So essentially, when we click, right, if input is the mouse button press, so if you click with the left mouse button, which we can also, if we go to our project settings and go to input, right, input devices pointing, emulate touch from mouse, emulate mouse from touch, same thing, not same thing, it's actually vice versa. Essentially, it tells you right here, sends mouse input events while tapping, and this one will be sends touch input events as clicking. Now, what are we going to do for that? This line of code, line 22, will say that we're going to slowly move, not slowly, but we're going to incrementally move the front dot global position, the front sprite, the circle, ever so slowly to the mouse position, which is the global mouse position, to make everything look nice. And I can do a quick demo. Essentially, what happens is you can see that it doesn't just jump to where my mouse is right now. It slowly goes over there, and that's exactly what this function does. This line of code does. Sorry, and we're also going to be clamping it between those ranges, as I said, and I explained how the array would work. And if we're not clicking, we're just going to not slowly, but lerp, I like to say, the front dot global position to where the back is. And ease value is just defined as how, and if we go to the GDScript documentation, just the weight at which we actually the weight at which we linearly interpolate between those 2 points. Essentially, this block of code is going to be able to make the joystick dynamic. If you don't want it, this is what your game will look like. No matter where you click, the front will be moved there, and it'll be moved within its extents, but the back will never change, right? And when we run this piece of code or have it in our game, it moves the back according to where we first click, and then allows the extents to be reset. And that's done here because when we say the maximum height for the back is actually the screen size minus the range of the joystick, what does that look like? It says, if this is the Y component, we're actually subtracting the range. That was just what I used. I mean, you can use any number. And it says, let me just draw a new box, gray box, white box. It basically says that, okay, we're going to only allow you to click within this area, which if you notice in the game scene, that's kind of what I had. We're only going to allow you to click within this area. If you click outside of this, I will not count that. If you click within it, then yes, the back sprite will be set to this area and the extents will be redrawn. That's essentially what this block of code does. And that's the joystick. Now, quickly go over the player. The player, since it's a kinematic body 2D, comes with its pre-built physics functions. Just throw in a sprite and a collision body. If you don't know how to do that, just search up sprite or collision body. And if you're wondering what that player character is over there, kind of looking like Mario, then you just go kinematic body. And essentially what we're doing is we're defining this variable, very important to be at the top, and we're just saying move and slide by this. You don't even need this part. That's just there for optimization, but you can have it like this. That's all you need. And we're move and sliding, self-explanatory, by a certain velocity. Now, if you've noticed, in the joystick code itself, we're actually not we're not actually getting values back from the joystick. We're just saying how do the sprites move relative to each other. In the game scene is where we actually get that, and we get that very simply through a little bit of vector maths. So I'm going to hop over to Paint and explain how does that work. Anyway, okay, so a little bit of a math breakdown here. How does that vector math work of front.global position minus back.global position? So let's say we have our back over here, our back sprite here, and we have our front sprite right over here. Front sprite right over here. What we're going to do is we're going to get I'll use the colors that I used for the actual images. For the front, what we're going to say is, this is actually how Godot gets the position vector. This is actually how it draws from the top left corner, this is 0, 0, and calls its global position, which is right here. And this is the back.global position. That's how Godot works. That's how most game engines work. They call from the top left. In fact, yeah, they call from the top left. What we're doing by subtracting is we're actually taking the front. I'll just redraw it over here. This is the front, about the same size, about the same magnitude, which is just the size, and direction, which is down right. And we're actually going to add from head to tail the back.global position. But if we're subtracting vectors, we have to do something a little bit differently. I didn't draw it in, but I'll draw it in now. The arrows in which they're pointing, they're actually pointing in this direction. Oops. So if we're going to subtract these vectors, what we're going to do is get the front vector. We're going to add the opposite. If we're going to add them, we would have done something like this. But we're not adding, we're subtracting. So we're actually going to take the opposite magnitude and we're going to set it like that. And when we subtract, we just get the resultant, which is kind of like the shortest path. And right here, we get the resultant. And if you look closely, that's kind of what this is. This red line and this red line are almost the same. And that's because I didn't draw them properly. But essentially, if I was doing the math, they would be exactly the same distance and direction. And we can actually leverage this fact and set the player velocity, right? Velocity is a variable we defined here. And we can set it back to what this function returned. And it actually returned this vector function. Vec is just like shorthand for vector. And that's actually what I described here as vector addition, subtraction. And just we're multiplying it by a speed multiplier because the actual distance that this goes is 200, right? Because we set the range of the joystick to 200. And if we just do if we toss in a speed multiplier, then that just solves that issue. if you want to get the if you want to set the rotation, then you just do this line of code. And essentially what it says is, use this to make the character point a certain direction. Essentially what it says is that get from the back .global position, get me the angle to where this is. And it gets the angle with reference to the 0, angle 0, which is actually over here. So it calculates the angle from here to here, and it will set it to what the how the player is meant to look. If we run it, we get this sort of a function. And if we take this line of code out, rerun the scene, we get this. As simple as that. The code is down in the description, and have a great day.